Well, hi everybody. It's Ray. How you doing? Welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm with a very interesting young cat, a guy called Kristian Russell from Queensland, Australia. Are you in QLD, Christian?
I'm from Queensland, but at the moment I'm in Sydney, which is where
You're
our office is.
you're in Sin City. I love it. Okay, now Christian is founder at a very exciting new AI-powered company called K2X. And I'm not even going to start to explain what they do because Christian could do a whole lot better. Buddy, welcome to the show. Um,
Thank you.
give us a brief overview of what you're doing with K2X, and then I just want to get a little bit of your backstory because people are always interested in the story.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, K2X is Australia's largest or one of the largest outbound prospecting systems for real estate.
Right.
So what they do is they basically call through databases, residential real estate agents' databases, and they prospect on their behalf.
Right.
So they've been running for about 8 years now. They've done something like 8 million calls over those 8 years. And they have basically an unbeaten track record. So that's K2X. K2X Auto is basically exactly what that is, but it's with AI.
Okay.
So we've taken all the data from 8 million calls over the last 8 years and basically put it into this AI conversational engine, which calls through past buyers, also people with addresses, and basically identifies opportunities. So it identifies what we call a pipeline seller,
Right.
which is someone that's looking to make a move anywhere in the next 0 to 24 months, pretty much.
Yep.
It also identifies buyers, property management opportunities, updates emails, updates addresses, and books actual appraisals as well. And we can get into statistics, I guess, of what our average sort of hit rate is with the AI compared to humans a bit later.
Okay.
But that's pretty much K2X Auto in a nutshell.
Okay. So what's your story? You were living in Japan, I think, and
Yes.
got
Yeah.
and got this opportunity. So tell me what's going on.
Yep. So I was living in Japan. I was over there for, I guess, a ski kind of working holiday.
Right.
I got injured, and I'd done a lot of AI stuff in the past when I was a finance broker, trying to, I guess, incorporate that into what I was doing day to day. But I kind of took a bit of a break from that. So I decided to get back into AI once I got injured and I couldn't really do any skiing anymore.
Hmm.
And at that point, I was building it for my parents' business, which they're in real estate. I was building
Okay.
like an outbound AI prospecting, I guess, engine.
Yep.
At that exact same time, K2X cold called my dad and basically pitched them their services. My dad said that his son had built an AI engine, exactly what they were pitching, and they basically called me, and we teamed up. So now we've started this new company called K2X Auto, which kind of takes, I guess, my technical knowledge and experience around AI, and then all of their intellectual property and what they've learned over 8 years of prospecting in terms of scripts, dialogues, and all that sort of stuff, and we've combined them into this magical machine.
Magic. It is magic.
Yeah.
So, oh boy, I've got so many questions. My first question is, so it's an AI powered call center, which is I think we were talking about before I press record. Was K2X a human call center before it was an AI powered call center?
Yeah,
That's
so
where you
there's
got all your
two
data from, right?
yeah, well, so there's two companies. There's K2X and
Right.
K2X Auto. So
Right.
K2X Auto is the AI. So I'm sitting right now in K2X's office. So in about an hour's time, there'll be all the prospectors roll in. So it still is a human call center as well.
Right.
Um, but I guess the AI side of it is starting to grow, and we're expecting it to kind of take over um, the volume that the humans do quite soon, I'd say.
Okay. Okay. I recently listened to a book and I learned later that the book, I actually know the author and I actually thought it was a live read by the author. I can't think of the software, Christian, that it's out there in the market, but it was
11 Labs.
11 Labs. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that what powers K2X?
So yes, basically there are
Okay.
a bunch of different platforms out there for voice.
Right.
There's like Cartesia, Fish Audio, OpenAI has some as well.
Yep.
But look, 11 Labs in terms of the how real it sounds is probably the number one.
Yeah.
It's also very, very quick.
Yep.
So I guess when you're on a phone call, you want to optimize for the lowest latency. So you want to make sure that when someone's finished speaking, it immediately starts speaking after them.
Yes.
11 Labs is the best for that.
Yeah.
They've got a bunch of models. They've got one really, really good model, which is very expensive, and it's also very difficult to use on the phone because it's too slow.
Yep.
But even their kind of medium models are pretty good in terms of realism.
Okay. Yeah. It was honestly, I was blown away. And I know there'll be people listening to this who've heard about AI and then it asks a question and there's a really long pause. There's an awkward
Yeah,
pause. And people go,
yeah.
I know what you're up to.
See, I just thought that my screen froze just then, actually, to be honest.
See, right. They call me Ray I. I'm thinking of changing my name to Ray AI. So so that is exciting. So let's before we go any further, because we're real estate agents, right? We've got about a 10-second attention span. How do we get in
Yeah.
touch with you?
You can get in touch with me by calling me. So my number, do you want me to give my number?
No, we'll just what's the website?
Yeah, it's k2xauto.com.au.
Okay, perfect.
Our contact info is on there. You can, I guess, call myself or Alex or Callan. We're
Okay.
all sort of in it together.
Yep.
In terms of if you want to get a rundown of how the actual tech works, I'd say I'm probably the person to speak to on that front.
We might
Because I
include
guess a lot
your
of
email
people,
address in the show notes,
yeah, of
so people, if you're cool with that, so people can just
course.
grab it and reach out to you. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
exciting. Do you offer a trial?
Yeah. So we basically do a 1 week trial.
Right.
It is a paid trial just
Yep.
because there is costs in our back end to actually set it up and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
But we don't sort of lock you into a contract off the bat. We kind of
Okay.
want to show you what we can actually do before we go into that.
Right.
Which I think I'm not too sure. I don't really think the other companies offer such a service from memory.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's awesome. So, to qualify, I guess I need to be a real estate company in Australia. Are you working with agents in NZ as well?
Yes. So
Oh,
New Zealand and Australia.
yeah.
Yep, we do both.
Yeah, I
We
got to
do
say,
only
my
residential as
my
well.
NZ agent friends are always up for trying something fresh and new. They love their
Yeah.
technology and always
And
punching above their weight when it comes to that.
yeah, and we actually find that New Zealand gets far better results, like
Oh,
almost
really?
double the amount of results as
Is that
Australia.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've had like honestly, so we obviously each, I guess, campaign or yeah, each campaign
Yep.
is pretty much 200 contacts.
Right.
Out of the 200 contacts that we get from New Zealand agents, we actually haven't had a campaign yet that's gotten under 10 sellers.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
That's exciting. Okay, so we need
yeah,
to be an agent in NZ or Oz, and we
yeah.
need to have a database of clients. So you would be looking for first name, last name, phone number, I guess. Is
Yep.
that it?
So basically, we need an address attached to it if we want to run out what we call our pipeline seller discovery
Got it.
bot.
Of course. Okay.
However, we do also do OFI, so old open for inspection data. We
Yep.
also run that through. It's just a separate sort of script, which does not need an address.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess the exciting part about this is that your human powered side of K2X has been able to learn over time what's working and what's not.
Yeah.
And that'd be Script City in that
Yeah.
call room with,
Yeah.
with calls going out, right? Hey, try this,
Yeah.
try this. And now you can just plug that all into AI, and with the power of 11 Labs, like honestly, guys, this 11 Labs thing, if you haven't heard about it, I think you can do an audio book. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Christian. I think if you've got to read into it for 2 or 3 hours, and it'll really get the cadence of your voice and your energy and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and then it will package that up, and you're good to go. So
Pretty much. Yeah.
it can be
You
duplicated.
can clone your own voice. You
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
Yeah. We've considered doing that with our voices. I did clone my voice to, I guess, try it out in the early days.
right.
My voice doesn't really get as many results as the female voices, so we've kind
Right.
of gone down a different pathway. So there are a lot of voices out there that you can kind of use that other people have cloned themselves, and they publish them to like the voice library. What we've found is what we do is we prompt a voice. So we create it from a prompt, which 11 Labs is pretty good at picking up on what you kind of want, but you get a bunch of different results. So sometimes it's like British by accident, or it's like American by accident. So we basically run that prompting to generate heaps of voices over and over and then test them in real time to see which one works better. So we've done hundreds of thousands of phone calls, and now we have real statistics on which voices actually perform best in
Yep.
terms of I guess, engagement.
Yep.
And I guess in terms of people feeling like open to share to it. Yeah.
Okay. So when it's set up to go out, let's say I'm an agent in Sydney and I've got 1,000 clients it's going to call,
Yeah.
is it random what voice it will select to call my database? Is everyone
No.
different? Is it male, female, or how does that work?
We have two voices that we use in production.
Right,
Both are female.
right.
One is kind of a deeper voiced female, which I personally don't really like the sound of, but it gets the best results.
Okay,
It also does create slightly more friction, but the reason it gets more results is because it's more direct.
okay.
We have another voice which is softer, obviously sounds like younger, also a female Australian, and that one gets still very good results, but it also creates less friction. So we only run those ones with actual campaigns,
Yeah.
although the actual name that's like attached to the like voice agent is different
Okay. How does the
for
call
every
to
person.
action work at the on the call? Let's say it calls Ray Wood and I'm engaged and I say, yeah, well, I'd be interested in having somebody come by and give me an estimate of my property. What happens
Yeah.
next?
Yeah, so basically, I guess I'll first start with the fact that, like, if you were to build a voice agent yourself, or these other companies that I guess build them off the shelf, they will probably do like a single prompt agent. So it'll just be one big prompt with all these instructions, and the bot kind of has to figure it out themselves,
Yep. Yep.
which doesn't really work for majority of people because everyone has a confusing and difficult circumstance and is never the same on every single call. So
Yes.
what we've done is we've basically built out, we have 10 different, I guess you could call them prompts, but we call them like nodes.
Right.
So based on what the person says to the opening question, we call it like the primary purpose question.
Yep.
It routes to the appropriate agent responsible for that part of the conversation.
Got it.
So if at the beginning you said, I want to get an appraisal, it would transfer to what we call agent transfer option to decide,
Hmm.
which is basically if someone has plans to do anything, an appraisal, buy, sell, rent, knock down, rebuild, subdivide, whatever.
Yep.
And that prompt's job is to basically determine whether they're buying, selling, renting, whatever. So what is their plan? So it would ask you a question along the lines of trying to figure out, I guess if you want an appraisal because you're just curious about the price, do you want an appraisal because you're selling? And then based on that, it's going to transfer to either the selling or the buying or the renting or the whatever pathway,
Yep.
if that makes
Yep.
sense.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it works. And that's pretty much the way we've designed it so that it can capture every single intent without ever sort of not knowing what to say, or even worse, I guess, making up information, which
Okay.
is
Okay.
obviously unideal.
That's okay. So let me ask you a question, a practical question.
Yeah.
We work with hundreds of agents in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the US, and they are running. They're using our ideas, our platforms, our tech, etc., to create leads on autopilot. In other words, there's an ad on social media. Somebody
Yeah.
clicks on it. They're engaged. They complete the meta form. And they're taken, so their information's handed over. They get an automated text response, etc. That's hardly new. They go to the property. They can check out the property.
Yeah.
Could could A2X Auto call them within like 10 minutes after that calls come in? Could it be linked to like a Go High Level or something like that to trigger the call from K2X?
Absolutely could be done.
Right,
I like to think that there's pretty much nothing that can't be done
right,
with AI and all this sort of
okay,
stuff. Basically, what that would entail is building a bot responsible for that.
right,
Which to build these bots, even though you can, put a single prompt in to actually build it so it's production grade, so you know that it's going to perform fine under, I guess, under pressure.
yep,
It takes, a month or 2 months to kind of regression test it. So
yep,
we test it, we run, hundreds, thousands of simulations
okay,
with other AI tools against it.
okay.
But yes, absolutely could be done.
So
That's actually
not
what's
happening yet, but you think it's on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Hmm.
we've got K2X itself has another branch they've just started called K2X Meta, which
Right,
is basically exactly what you're describing. But
right,
at the moment, we use the humans to follow up
okay,
immediately,
right,
um, which is going quite well.
yep.
But I do think that K2X Auto will be part of that very, very shortly. Definitely.
Okay, with K2X Auto, when this dialogue starts, somebody picks up the phone, says hello. At
Yeah.
any point, does it declare or disclose that this is an AI generated voice?
Not that it's a generated voice, but it does disclose that it's a virtual assistant, yes.
Right.
So
Okay. Okay.
that is not actually a legal requirement right now, but it will be for sure.
Okay.
So we thought we'd just kind of get ahead of it. So it discloses that the line is recorded.
Yep.
Even if the recording is not kept, technically it is recorded because it's transcribed. To, actually, I guess the actual bot itself has to transcribe in order to, speak back to understand what's being said. So yeah, we disclose it's recorded, disclose it's a virtual assistant, but we've actually found that if you disclose it's a virtual assistant, you have less people firstly getting angry that they're talking to an AI. They have the chance to opt out
Yep.
if they want to. And then also less people actually pick up on the fact that it's AI.
Right.
I have no idea why, but just based on the statistics, that's what we've found.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, if you want to connect with Kristian, the website is k2x.com.au. That is Kristian Russell with a K. And I am going to put Kristian's email address in the show notes for this episode. Kristian,
Yeah.
thank you so much for this awesome content, mate. I love it.
No worries. All good.